This is our lab at the University of Groningen on the Zernike campus. We collected fish in the Dutch salt marshes and we brought them back here and we looked at what they were eating. Over the last 4 years I've been studying how fish use the Dutch salt marshes, and to do that we've been monitoring fish communities on the artificially constructed mainland marshes of Groningen and Friesland coasts, and also Schiermonnikoog and Texel. We fished using fyke nets, which is a type of fishing gear that you can set in a salt marsh creek, and then it catches the fish as they leave or as they're swimming around the salt marshes, and it allows us to measure the community. We were trying to understand what species visit the salt marshes, what time of year that they're there, and how does the fish community change over the years, and what types of conditions do they prefer in the salt marshes. The fish we collected in the salt marshes we brought back here to this lab at the University of Groningen. These are some stomach samples. So the stomach contents have been removed from the fish and put into ethanol. And what happens next is that these go for DNA extraction, and from there then they get sequenced, and then it tells us what prey species the fish was eating. The fish tend to prefer a salinity gradient, which is absent from the artificially constructed mainland marshes because the seawall cuts off the inland extent of the salt marsh. And on the island you have this nice long meandering creeks that are not cut off by a seawall, and so there's a salinity gradient present there. And the other thing that fish tend to prefer is creeks which retain water during a full tidal cycle. In the artificially constructed marshes you have this really high drainage capacity, which means during low tide almost all of the water leaves. From looking at the diets, we found that fish in the Dutch salt marshes tend to eat more mud-dwelling animals from the bottom of the creeks. And this differed from our expectations because in marshes that are flooded more regularly, fish tend to eat more terrestrial animals like insects and amphipods. Whereas in the Dutch salt marshes, which don't flood very regularly, the more available prey are probably these mud-dwelling animals. With this knowledge, we've shown that the salt marshes are important habitat for small and juvenile fish species, and we also show that the way that the salt marshes are constructed is also important for fish. In the future, it would be really interesting to focus on maybe incorporating more natural salt marsh characteristics into the artificially constructed marshes on the mainland. I think that by doing that, you would improve the overall habitat quality for fish.